Welcome to Season 2 of Strengths on Fire, the Great Strengths Debate.
Think you know Clifton's strengths? Think again.
This season, we're breaking down the biggest myths
Challenging conventional wisdom.
and showing you how strengths actually show up in leadership, life, and the messy middle of real work.
Sarah, you want to light these strengths on fire?
Let's light it up! Well, good morning, Mr. Builderful. How are you doing?
And let's see. It's been a morning. It's been a morning. A lot of change going on in my life right now. So
A lot of change? What do you mean?
just my wife's moving offices, and we've got a lot of balls in the air to get things moving, and we're juggling all sorts of changes, and cats have been crazy, and it's just been it's a fun, different time right now. And I had to cancel. I had to cancel my golf game today.
Wow.
Yes.
Sacrifices are being made. I hear what you're saying.
Yes. When we talk about change, now that the golf game's off, I don't know.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but I have a question for you this morning.
All right. I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Well, I don't know, but I'll see.
It's a good one.
Oh, I'm excited.
If your strengths had a group chat, what kind of drama would go down in there?
What is the drama in my group chat? Well, let's see. The first thing is my individualization is going to take everything way too far. It's going to try to make everybody both feel good and point out the very unique, different things about them. So my individualization, that drama, is going to drive the rest of them absolutely crazy, especially activator, because my activator is just going to say stuff fast, go, random, go now. And my individualization is going to point out all the flaws in whatever my activator just did. There's the drama.
There it is, a little bit of it.
And in the meantime, my restorative is going to be sitting in the background, solving the problem of how do we shut individualization down from being a jerk into my other strengths right now. And I guess lastly, my developer is just going to be sitting there thinking, can't we all just make each other better rather than shoot? So I've got the ready fire aimer. I've got the drama of the person that's going to point out all of the little things because they can spot it. And then I get we all just need to get along. So actually, you've just got a wonderful preview of my entire head every single day. Sarah, thanks for the question.
Honestly, it's a great icebreaker question for groups. I just realized.
Jumps right in. How about the drama in your message? So.
I think it would be pretty simple. I think like positivity would probably just show up as toxic positivity, loving everything, emojis, should be making all the text shake and doing things. I think communication would just be texting all day, and responsibility would be like, do you guys ever work? We need to work. It's basically like book club. Our guest today is in a book club with me, and we have a text thread. And yesterday it was blowing up. And the people who are diligent workers at the end of the day were like, does anyone here have a job? That would be my own group chat with my strengths, probably, is how that exact conversation went down.
I will echo that capability. So we've had Pete on the first season, a really, really good friend of mine in Los Angeles. He has a ongoing WhatsApp with a group of 6 friends, all guys. We call it the Commander Channel. I'm no longer on it and haven't been on it.
That is so masculine, but continue.
I realize. And I haven't been on it for like a year and a half. And it's just because I can't stand picking up my phone and it says there are 37 WhatsApp messages. And I have to flow through it to hear that, whatever. I'm picking up dog crap in the backyard today, or, and I'm just like, guys, I can't. I just can't. I can't be invested. So I stopped listening to it. Now they've uninvited me.
Well, that's so funny because I love when I pick up my phone and it says there's 47 unread messages. I'm like, oh my God, I am so loved. And I think that's a great segue actually into our topic today and the differences of how we show up.
Absolutely.
Today we're talking about Relator versus Woo, the connection throwdown. And it's really exciting because I have high Woo and low Relator. Bill, you have both Woo and Relator in your top 10. And
I
our
do.
guest today, the most wonderful human, someone I love dearly, a good friend of mine, a notable person in our community, Anna Pressler. She comes to us with high Relator and low Woo. And so, Anna, welcome to Strengths on Fire. Introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about you, and share with us those top 10.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. I was actually, your start off question was going to say, Sarah is in a group text with me and knows that I rarely respond because I get a bit overwhelmed with message after message after message after message. And it takes me a minute to be like, okay, what am I reading? How am I going to respond? What do I want to say? Hello, deliberative, analytical, intellection. And then by the time I'm ready to respond, the group text has moved completely in a different direction.
Right.
So I am just mostly a lurker.
I think that's why I bowed out, because I would have said something here, but why are there 76 messages past us? And I have seen triple digits from this group. So I think the majority of my friends in LA are like Sarah. I would much rather see 30 things. We have one of the guys on the chat who will send the most senseless videos. Like, we'll make one little comment about something stupid, and you will get 7 videos from YouTube that are of a movie from the 50s where they make a comment about that thing. And I'm like, I now have to watch 7 videos, 5 minutes each to get that. I'm like you now, and then we've moved on, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have minded saying something, but now we're talking about something else. What? Why are we doing it? So, Anna, I sympathize with you. I like the lurker comment. I would agree with you.
Exactly. But then I get in a group text with, 2 people and I respond to every single message because I want to make sure that every message is seen and responded to. Yeah. So Sarah's also in a group text with me with just one other person, mostly Instagram, I guess, DMs. But
Yes.
We actually have to respond to every single message in that.
That's true. And you do. You are much more responsive there. But that, to be fair, is also basically a Taylor Swift fan message. We basically just send things about Taylor Swift to each other and then comment on them.
Yeah. I was going to say, welcome to August. The salt air is making me very happy today.
Oh my God. On the last
back.
episode, that's what I said.
Oh, man. Sarah in the pre-show played the song. And, as a fellow Swiftie, I love it. But, wow, it hit twice today. Congratulations. So,
well, here we are.
Our arsonists know we actually film 2 most Fridays. So we are filming both of these on the same day. So that reference works both ways. Sarah,
that's
congratulations.
Right. We're August 1st again. Okay, Anna, tell everyone. That was great, by the way. I love the introduction. I feel like we've already set up Woo and Relator so well, but people need to know who you are. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah. So I'm here in Lincoln with Sarah. We were commenting earlier that she's only a couple blocks away from me right now. Work-wise, most of my career has been in higher education. So working in leadership development, recruitment, retention, all that good stuff. Working in higher ed is actually where I got my introduction to strengths. And obviously in Nebraska, we are surrounded by it all the time. Also where I got my introduction to Sarah in our grad program, which was super fun. I, about 3 years ago, made the switch over to the corporate world. And I now work in talent development. One of my big pieces of my job is managing our global internship program. Clearly could not let go of that relationship with those college students. So I still get to work with college students just a little bit on the other side. I do get to talk strengths a little bit at work, mostly in sort of team and group facilitation. Also facilitate a couple of other things, other assessments that are present in our workplace, those kinds of things. And then I get to talk strengths quite a bit in my volunteer life as well. One of the organizations that I volunteer for affords me the really cool opportunity to travel to other college campuses and have conversations about how your strengths are related to building resilient leadership, which is really fun. So college students, common thread, strengths, common thread, in a lot of the different things I get to do. So as far as my top 10, competition is my number 1. And I do always have to say that if competition is anywhere in your top and it's not number 1, are you sure that it's actually?
Oh, spoken like a true competition. Wow. Laying down the
Wow.
gauntlet. Okay, I love that.
You're gonna get some arsonist ideas coming at you. Someone's gonna send you something in email. That's good. I like it.
So yeah, competition is my number one, and then deliberative, relator, individualization, self-assurance, achiever, analytical, harmony, intellection, and significance.
Wow. I just love we've got 3 relationship building, 3 influencing, 2 executing, and 2 strategic thinking themes there.
Yeah. And that was truthfully really important to me when I unlocked my full 34. When I just had my top 5 and I didn't see any strategic thinking in there, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get a job because I can't strategically think, right? But unlocking that top 10 and seeing sort of how that rounds out that distribution and how my strengths show up in different ways was really important to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I always say to people, you could have, like you're saying, the top 5 might be missing a domain totally. And then like 6 through 10 could be all that domain, and it could be a huge part of you. So we are huge proponents here of unlocking the full report and having people look at the full 34 list for that very reason, because that top 10, top 15 is really important. Now, as we get into our topic today, where we are debating which is the better strength for connection, relator or woo, we've got, Bill is giving me a look like,
It's
ew.
just why you got to have both.
Well, yeah, it says,
Says the guy who has them both, right? Yeah.
you can't pick one.
I can't wait for both of you to get this wrong.
Right.
I'm just right here going, okay, my individualization trying to, oh no, it's so sorry. You won't get this wrong. You guys are great at this. So go on.
Well,
on,
I
Sarah.
think I just feel like we must tell the story of how Anna and I met. Now, I'm probably going to tell the story different than how Anna is going to tell the story.
Yes,
But
I'm
from
ready.
my woo point of view, we were in the same graduate program together. And of course, I come in like a fire flame, ready to make friends, ready to go out, ready to party, ready to get
Never noticed
everybody
that about you.
together.
Bizarre.
You
I
know,
don't know that. I don't know that part of Sarah. That's
Well,
Nobody's
especially
ever seen it.
in the situation where you're in something new like that, I find that woo ratchets up because I've got to be able to make connections. I had moved out of Lincoln after my undergrad. So one of the things Anna and I had in common is we both were working full time before we went into our grad program, where you have other people in the grad program who go straight from undergrad into it. So she had more professional experience than I did, but I was coming in with that too. But I still needed to ratchet it up to make friends. And I was so intimidated by Anna. I was like, this girl, she's got together. She is classy, she is smart, and she wants none of my BS. But she was forced to be with me a lot, and I feel like I chipped away slowly at her defenses of not wanting to be a part of my BS, and I strung her in
So now
and
she's
wrapped my web around her.
now she's deeply part of your BS, is what you're saying.
Anna, how do you see that?
Well, Sarah, that is definitely your version of that story. There are definitely pieces of truth. I think, one of the bad raps that Relator gets is that we are, exclusive and don't like to meet new people and all that good stuff. And when you're heading into a grad program like Sarah and I were, you sort of do have to put yourself out there a bit more and meet people. So I will say that Sarah's woo and some people's woo in general is a bit off-putting to me at first. And so it does take a little bit more time. And she did a great job of, as she said, breaking down those defenses, breaking down the walls, continuing to come back so that I could realize that her woo is like actually who she is and not just a front that she was putting up at the beginning to try to make everybody love her. So once I realized that okay, this is actually authentically who she is, I appreciated her and that woo a whole heck of a lot more. And now we don't need to maybe say how many years later, but we are still good friends, right?
And I think that the confetti puppy chow only had a little bit to do with this.
She knows the way to my heart is through desserts and sweets. So, as many times as she could bring those around, it helped for sure.
Well,
Pumpkin cookies and confetti puppy chow on a road trip, and you can wear down a relator.
you can do it. You can do it. Well, actually, I mean, as I'm listening to this, being the referee, since I have both of them, I feel like in the middle of this, you guys have both just perfectly emphasized the difference between woo and relator. Right? The woo came in saying we're best of friends, we're making things happen, we're going, and the relator needed that chipping away. She needed the time. She needed the puppy chow confetti. I don't
Confetti puppy chow.
yeah, confetti
Either
puppy chow.
way, sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. She needed that to get to that, to understand the woo and to let the woo in. Right? Woo, our woo person, Sarah, you said it several times. Woo has to eat.
Yeah.
And I can't always eat at home. I've got to be out. I have to be out doing that.
That's right.
And Anna, it's so good on you to already know right up front and be able to talk about, I wasn't so sure. Wasn't so good in the beginning. We just did an episode around can woo be annoying? And we've just answered part of that question. So thank you for pointing out. We all, and my wife and I laughed the other night talking about it. We all agreed as woos, we had 3 woos on, that we all agree it's annoying. All of us said to ourselves, we find it annoying, and we find it annoying when we annoy other people with it, because we can definitely spot it.
Yeah.
So Anna, thanks for sticking around and letting her wear you down to get into the BS web. I appreciate that.
Well, and to be fair, I think woo can get the rap that it is superficial or fake.
Sure.
And there probably are people out there like that, who would try initially to win people over, and if it
Those are high
doesn't work,
self-assurance
just move
people,
on.
Excuse me.
Which is also our guest today.
I'm just, we always get a reaction somehow. We're getting there.
Right.
So yeah, I like it. Number 5 for you, by the way. That's pretty
Yes.
funny. Anyway, sorry, go on. Yes.
Well, and I just think that, depending on the strengths that you have around your relator or your woo, it's going to show up differently. And so there is sort of a tenacity that a woo would need to have to really make sure that those relators see them for who they are. Because you could also flash in the pan, be like, hey, I'm trying to win you over. Oh, you're not taking to it? Okay, I'm going to move on to the easier targets.
Another target.
My woo doesn't work that way. Even in a facilitation, if I find there's an individual who seems not bought in, they are sort of my target. I like that. And when I think about all the, my best girlfriends in the world, when I first encountered them, I find them super intimidating. They seem hard to get and intimidating. And it is funny to me to look at those women and think that's who I like. That intrigues my woo of I want to know them. There's obviously more than just winning them over about that, but I find it so interesting to be in friendship with, that it's worth it to me to put the work in, as opposed to just trying to win it, not get it, and then move on to someone else.
Well, can I ask you this, Sarah? Because this came up in an episode very recently, and you were really honest on the podcast when you said, very frequently, it's hard for me to maintain long-term relationships. It's really hard for me because I want to woo it up with a really wide net, and then I find I'm letting my closest relationships kind of suffer from not having the energy that I'm putting into all of the others.
Yeah.
So is that when we have somebody on that's such a long-term endearing friend, have you noticed that over the time, and how have you combated it? Because that's a really good point for a woo. How do you combat that? I'm putting energy elsewhere, but I need to invest in this.
It's a great question. And I would say it is really easy for me to lose track of friends. It's like all good intentions. You run into them. You're like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. We should totally get coffee. And I would say for years, Anna and I did that. We would maybe meet up for coffee, but it would always be like, oh, we should do this more. For me, it is creating habits and rituals around the friendship that allows it to take place. So like I said, Anna and I are in a book club together, and I think that has helped strengthen our bond even in the last 3 years of the book club, because monthly we get to see each other. And then that sort of reinvigorates it, right? Because with my woo, I collect friends and it sounds terrible. I just feel like a psycho saying I replace people in my mind. Who do I need to see that doesn't mean I don't love and adore those people who I've built friendships with. It's just I'm not always thinking, oh, I need to follow up with them. And so, with my friends who don't live here in my same town, I talk to them on Marco Polo and I do it in my car. It is a habit. And so every day I check those Marco Polos and then I'm in constant communication with them. With Anna and some of my other local friends, it's when they're in my book club with me. And if I don't have something that's consistent like that we have created this habitual thing, I feel like I lose people to where it's like, oh, we're still friends, but now we haven't seen each other in 6 months.
I
Are
think it's
you
interesting.
making that point with concealer or bronzer in your
Oh,
hand?
this
I'm
is lip
just
gloss.
lip
Sorry.
gloss. Got it. Okay, I wasn't quite sure, but I've never seen you make a point with lip gloss in your hand. So I figured this is a serious point, Anna. She's been there. And Anna, I cut you off. Where were you going with?
I was going to say, I think it's interesting from the other perspective on the relator side is that Sarah is one of my good friends, obviously, that has Woo High. One of my other really good friends is like you, Bill, and has Woo and Relator both in their top 5. And both of them and many of my other Woo friends have said that they like to collect relators because it is that let's break down those walls, let's have consistent communication, let me try to win you over. And truthfully, as a relator, I think I have a decent number of friends who do have Woo High for that reason, because they have taken the time to mutually invest in the relationship, because they obviously our motivations are different, right? I want to invest because I want to get to know them at a deeper level. I want to build that stronger, longer lasting bond. I want to know more about them. So I'm asking them a lot of questions, but then obviously they also want to win me over. So they're willing to put in the time and continue to communicate with me, continue to try to talk to me, continue to want to spend time with me so that we can mutually achieve the outcome we want. And then we end up, sticking around with each other for a really long time. So I think that is a really an interesting and unique perspective on the fact that when I look at some of my really good friends, many of them have Woo High.
Well, I would feel that the scenario you just laid out for me means you are in a target rich environment when you are around woos, because they're trying to get to that next level with you. They're trying to build that. And as the relator, you're trying to get there too. It's almost a common destination. So as they are so open so fast, you can pick, you can start selecting, you can take it in and help build towards that depth. Even though as a fellow woo, I don't always want to be super deep right out of the gate, but then my relator kicks in. So I mentioned my friend in LA and the 6 guys we have a bunch of, they're all really good friends of mine, but I'm super tight with one of them, really tight. And the other ones are really good friends. I would, take a bullet for them, but I think we would all agree, I don't bond and communicate with them in a way because I don't have the relator component with that. But it still makes, as you would say, that really rich environment when I'm meeting people, because I can open that door and man, I want to start building that depth. But in my case, I don't always have to. In that scenario, I can have these really great friends that I can still have the woo. And Sarah, I think, echo what you have, which is I'm not letting them go. We're still tight, but I might be bonding with them through another friend, through Pete. So fascinating to hear you both say it. And I live part of it on my own. Anna, I skipped you on this part when Sarah was talking about I might let friends go and things happen. In your past with Sarah, how has that looked for you? Have you
I
had
feel like
that?
this is friend therapy.
It is. Has your relator kicked in and said, no, 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 we're not where we need to be. We need to go. We need to have some depth.
I think it's interesting, sort of 2 different phases of friendship for me. And I think Sarah and I probably went through these 2 different phases. That at the beginning, when we're still trying to establish that relationship, when I'm still trying to decide, do I care enough to make this a deeper relationship? Is this somebody that I really want to invest in, who I know is going to mutually invest in me? If the other person walks away and is not consistent with continuing to reach out, I will probably let them walk away. But once we have that established relationship and you are in that inner circle and you are somebody that I care about, that I want in my life, that I feel like we have that mutual trust, that mutual respect, and have built that deeper relationship, I legitimately have the words "to be loyal" tattooed on my body, because it is something that is so important to me. It's part of a creed of an organization I'm in, so that's dual purpose, but that loyalty is incredibly important on both sides. And so I think that's one of the superpowers of Relator, is that I do attempt to continue then to reach out, to continue that relationship, to continue that loyalty to that person, even when life goes through ups and downs, right? Sarah has 3 children in 2 years and her life is chaotic. Clearly, I'm not going to see her or communicate with her quite as much, but I'm going to do my best to show up and be there for her and ask how she's doing and offer my help where I can and follow up with her as much as I can, because she is somebody that I care enough about and want to continue that relationship, even if she's not reaching out as much at that point. So I think for me, like I said, it's sort of those 2 different phases of relationships is going to depend on how I'm going to react when that woo inevitably steps away a little bit.
And if I'm being honest, I think I just got really lucky that I met Anna in a graduate program that was 2 years, and there were only 6 people in our cohort. So we were sort of forced in proximity with each other constantly. And so we were having classes, we were, having meetings, we had assistantships that overlapped. We would have lunch together on campus. We were together every day. And then we went on an alternative service break trip together where we slept on the same air mattress in the basement of a church, which was a real great experience for Anna.
So fun. So fun.
And
so
then
much togetherness, Sarah.
So much togetherness. We also then went on
Sarah snore? I'm just,
At that stage of life, no.
No, I do not snore. But we also went to China together. So we went on a study abroad trip to China, and we were roommates for the 2 weeks that we were in China, which also tested our friendship in ways because we all operate in hotel rooms in different ways.
Yep.
But I think, honestly, her Relator needing that sort of intentional time and dedication and showing up, in a way, I feel like I got lucky that we were in a program to where it was easy for me to do it, right? In my real life, I was sort of forced to do it. I mean, right. I wanted to. Of the people in the program, I got closest to her. We were close to other people in the program, but she was the person I was closest to, and now is the only person I really am in constant communication with. And I think that we were able to build that connection. But had we not been in a program like that, and I just met her, in undergrad, I don't know that we could have built that bond, because I don't know if my woo would have allowed me to show up as consistently with her to build her trust that I would keep showing up.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Sarah. I mean, we had so many formative experiences and places where we were forced to be together that we had the opportunity to build that deeper relationship. I had the opportunity to learn to trust you and ask you really great questions and get to know more about you and your life and your background and those kinds of things that made me want to continue to invest and show up, even if you did step away after grad school for a little while or when life happened or those kinds of things. Yeah, I think that's a really good point for sure.
Well, good on the two of you too, because that can go in the other direction. As we're forced together, I find you more annoying, and I'm finding you more annoying.
There's probably a lot of that too, but then we would still be forced to be together.
There might be, right? And I kudos to both of you for chipping away at what was needed for both of you, because Sarah, I think for you having that depth is probably something that now you truly appreciate. I know I do when I get past the woo and I do have depth with these people, and it builds more to me. And on your side, Anna, you're probably really happy having someone around that has no filter and has no inability to say whatever is on the mind of her at that moment and open doors and walk into situations that you maybe don't have direct access to. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think that's really fair. I think, one of the, again, things that relators can get misconstrued on is that we don't like meeting new people. We don't like networking events. We don't want to build new relationships because we are comfortable and confident in the ones that we already have. And I think for me, that's another reason why I do have so many friends that are relators. I would have never ended up in a book club full of people that I do not know had it not been for Sarah, my woo friend, saying, let me gather the most random group of amazing women in Lincoln and put them in a book club. And Anna, you're going to come. And I didn't go the first time because I was like, I don't know any of these people. Why would I go? Sarah followed up and said, no, Anna, you're going to come this time. And I came. And then now, 3 years later, I'm still going every week. And so I think, yeah, the woo friends are helping me get into spaces and places where I can enjoy networking. I can enjoy meeting new people. I can build more really great friends who become part of my inner circle because I can lean on that woo friend a little bit, which is really helpful.
Now, I have a question for you two because you're both relators. I, of course, do not think this, but what would you say to people who say, well, relator is not a great connection builder because all those relators are just so closed off and standoffish?
Well, my immediate reaction to that is like, again, yes, we can be viewed as exclusive or we don't want to meet new people or those kinds of things. The way that relator shows up for me though, is when I'm in a new environment, meeting new people, my default is to ask a ton of questions of the person that I'm meeting. I don't love surface level conversation. And so I want to go deeper. I'm asking them about their family, about what takes up their time during the day. I'm asking them about their academic background. I want to go deeper pretty quickly and get to know them better so that I can sort of suss out, is this somebody that I want to invest in more? Is this somebody that I want to build a deeper relationship with? And just because that's the kind of conversation that I like better anyway. And so in my opinion, that is sort of the opposite of being exclusive, is that I want to have those deeper relationships and those deeper connections. Now, that's not going to happen with absolutely everybody. I work in an environment where I can sit wherever I want and I can go to lunch with whoever I want every day. And I choose to sit in the same place by the same people and go to lunch with the same people every day because that's where I am most comfortable. And I love investing in those relationships. But bring somebody new into that group and it's not like, oh, wait a minute, you can't be part of our group. It's okay, well, let me get to know you. Let me have some more deeper conversation with you. Let me suss out this relationship a little bit to make sure that it, is worth both of our time to continue investing in. And so it is inclusive in that way, that I want to genuinely get to know people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're wrong. So, no, I'm just totally kidding. So I had to mature into your take on this, and it took me a lot longer than it should have. So when I was younger, and I brought this up recently, I was a real jerk to a lot of people. I would, if you were coming into my social group, I would find reasons to push you away because we're not close. I'm close with these people. You're not. I don't know why you're coming in. I don't know that I want to build a relationship with you yet. And so I definitely had that cloud, that caricature around me of people saying, well, he thinks his crap doesn't stink because he's very elitist about the people and he doesn't get close with people. And took me a long time to realize that I did carry that and see it in other people. So again, from a very Gallup Clifton Strengths point of view, I had to become very mature about relator. And for me, there's a couple in there. Individualization's one where I was being highly selective. And it's difficult to admit it, but I mean, I pushed a lot of people away. A lot of people that probably would have been fantastic friends like you and Sarah are, or my friends in LA. And thank God some of them stuck around. Thank God some of them didn't get pushed away because they ended up being the ones that I'm really close with. And once I got mature enough to understand what I'm doing and how to fix it, then now we're fast friends and I welcome people into the group as much as possible. But it took me a long time. So Anna, good on you for getting to that quickly and knowing what that meant. And I think being forced to bunk with Sarah probably accelerated that process for you. Is that?
Yeah, probably a little bit. Yeah, for sure. I do think you make a good point there though, and I don't want to assume that this is how I have always been because I have definitely been there, Bill, where it is easy to become a bit more closed off, and I definitely was that way when I was younger, and maybe that's why Sarah was a bit more intimidated by me when I was in my 20s and like, excuse me, why do I need to make new friends and who is this crazy person that's trying to just continue to talk to me? But yeah, I think the interesting thing for me is when we think about the collective of my strengths, competition being number one, and you all have talked about Woo is winning others over. And so for me, having competition up there and significance to a certain extent makes me want other people to think that I am a good friend. Not that they like me, but if I'm going to invest in a relationship, I want them to believe that I'm a good friend and being a good person to them, welcoming them, being inclusive, being kind, being loyal are all sort of part of me wanting to be a good friend to other people, which I think has really helped my relator mature in maybe not being as exclusive as I maybe used to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, one of the things that I've learned from Bill about relators that I always think about now is not only on the front end, how y'all can be slower to warm. Obviously, Bill, you have that woo, so it looks a little different, but those relators in general can be a little slower to warm. But the way I feel like relators can also hold people to a higher standard for friendship. You know, Bill, you've mentioned in the past, and maybe this was your more raw form of relator, like cutting people out of your life.
Yeah.
And I think like, oh, that's such an interesting take on it because I think I, as a high woo, have a really low standard. Like I can like meet someone one time. This has happened where I've been in a coffee shop with someone else. Someone walks in and they're like, Sarah. And I'm like, hi. And I get up and I hug them and we talk and they leave. And the person I'm sitting with is like, who is that? I'm like, I have no idea.
No clue. No
They're like,
idea.
you literally just gave them a hug. I'm like, I know. They knew who I was. I'm like, I like recognize their face. I know they're someone I know. They're someone I've met before, but oh God, and so like my bar for friendship of like what I consider a friend is so low. Like that I will just like, oh yes, anybody come in. And I feel like you all with that relator have a much higher standard of what it means. And then if people aren't meeting that, what does it look like to like see ya?
I would say yes to everything you said. However, sometimes, and Gallup will bear this out, and we do this as coaches, sometimes another theme is in the driver's seat at that moment. I have run into people who I have instantly said, we need to be best friends. I barely know you. I almost know you. I need to be a great friend with you. Maybe the woo has ticked up really, really heavy. Maybe my individualization spotted something about them that was really unique and I liked. Maybe my activator just charged in and said something about that. And I have had people tell me, when we've been honest in some of the men's groups that we've had, I've had people tell me when I brought it up as, hey, I thought we'd be really closer and we're not. And they're like, well, you came on way too strong. you were really bright and shiny. And so I don't know how to deal with that. So I just didn't push, and again, it depends on what strengths they're bringing too.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. It can lead to that. But again, as all of our themes are in play for me, sometimes I went too far the other way. My pendulum would absolutely swing. So when we're in this debate question of relator versus woo, sometimes my pendulums are way, way out there. And I really like bonding with certain people. I don't know what the click is, but sometimes it just happens. And I'm like, man, I'm all in. I got it. Right. And now the woo has just turned into a flashlight right in their eyes. Some people are okay with that. Some people are like, no, this is really bad. And then oftentimes the pendulum goes the other way and, hey, you're coming into my social group? No, we don't know you. I have to work on that. So I would say in that way, I can be frustrating even to my closest friends because they don't know who's showing up sometimes.
Yeah. And I bet that's even frustrating to yourself at times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I catch myself being really, bright and shiny at somebody and think, what are you doing? why this? Why now? Why is that? Or flip it around, and sometimes, why were you pushing away? I've gotten much better at it. Again, I am still talking about years ago, but even in my current life, every now and then I'll catch myself slipping those ways, right? We don't shake these too well unless we know how to mature and immature them. And Anna, I would guess you probably see some of what I just mentioned from the relator side sometimes in your life. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think that's really fair. I am definitely not the instant best friend type by any means. It definitely does take time to build that connection. And I
Well,
think
except
using
you and I, right?
exactly here
Yeah.
directly, yes, Bill, we are best
Yeah.
friends. Easy.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, go on.
I think using Sarah's example of like somebody walks into a coffee shop and says hi to Sarah, Sarah jumps up, gives them a hug, etc. I am truthfully am the complete opposite in that scenario, unless it is somebody that I truly want to say hello to and talk to and have a relationship with. My default is, well, they don't really want to talk to me, and I am deep in this conversation with this person that I'm having coffee with, that I want to be deep in this conversation with. And so I'm going to let them grab their coffee and be on their way and not try to say hi, and they're probably not going to try to say hi to me, right? So yeah, I think two completely different perspectives on that. And then when I am with my friends like Sarah or other friends who have Woo that just want to talk to everybody that walks around us at a coffee shop, I get frustrated with that because I am here with you. I want to spend quality time with you. I want to talk to you. And you have 15 other best friends that are flitting about that you are chatting with, which can make me a little itchy sometimes when I'm with my Woo friends.
Yeah. And I think what you describe is we're really narrowing down on the concept that Woo is sort of this quick spark and relator is that steady depth. And that, yeah, I hate the idea that I could be talking to someone at a party or sitting with someone at a coffee shop and someone else walks in and I'm like, oh my gosh, hi, how are you? And now I have just isolated the person I was just talking to, made them think that someone was better, right? That I would abandon them for someone else because the Woo wants to win everybody over. And in doing so, you can lose people, And so it's like a surface level connection, whereas those relators, it's that deep connection. The fact that you would sit at the coffee shop and honor the connection we're having and ignore these acquaintances that walk by in order to maintain that deep, steady relationship is honestly super admirable. And it makes me feel like such a flimsy person. I'm feeling so insecure about my Woo being surrounded by two relators. Oh.
Well, let me let you off the hook for a second, Sarah. I mentioned Chapel Tavern not long ago, and Scott and I go, and every now and then we'll have a drink at Chapel. And one of the things, even nowadays, I have to check is I think it depends on the depth of relationship you have with the person that's right in front of you, because Scott will say, hey, let's go get a drink at Chapel, and text me, and I'll be like, great. And then I'll notice he texted two other people in the chain. And I'm like, right? I just want to hang out with you, Scott, and go laugh, right? And I even know the other people he's going to invite. We're probably all pretty good friends, but I'm like, oh. And then sometimes I look at it and go, oh, awesome, he invited so-and-so or that person or this. And I look at that. But there are definitely times even now where you may find it admirable that, man, you really build that socialness. But from a relator internal point of view, for me, Anna, it can be frustrating. It can still be tough, right? Where I'm like, oh, I just want to build on that depth. Today's not a day to build a new depth of field relationship.
Yeah,
for sure. One of my other really good friends, I mentioned her already, she has both Relator and Woo in her top 5. So she has a similar push and pull to you, Bill. And she will intentionally reach out to me and say, okay, we have dinner plans tonight. Is this the kind of dinner plan where you just want the two of us to be able to chat and hang out and build that relationship and catch up on each other's lives? Or is it okay with you if I invite our other friend to join this happy hour or dinner or whatever that looks like, so that we can have that moment to check in with each other on No, I just really want this to be you and I to be able to catch up and really go deep with each other. Or, yeah, I'm okay with adding another person or two or three, but probably not more than two or three.
It makes me think that we can really learn from each other, thinking, can Woo learn what it looks like to go deeper? And can you relators learn what it looks like to be more open?
Or can you woo relators amplify both?
Right. Or maybe we can learn from the Woo relators in the room who bring both.
Just saying, if I can help develop other people with developer so high for me, I will step into that role gladly. And I, while admitting the pitfalls of both of those for me, I will tell you I cherish them, and I absolutely, now that I understand them better and can swap the driver's seat for who comes at what time, they are both superpowers that allow me to really talk to a lot of a variety of people, and I think it really assists me not only in my friendships and my family life, but in my coaching world.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say, as much as it pains me to say, because Relator is clearly the best connecting strength, and my top 10 is clearly the best. It pains me to say this, but I have said it many times already, that I do rely heavily on my friends that are woos to help me make the connections, help me get outside my comfort zone, help me grow my network, be that buddy that will go to the party or the networking event with me. And so yes, Sarah, I think we both need each other and can lean on each other. The power of us together allows us to do a whole heck of a lot more than me, who would choose to sit at my house and have a game night with my high school friends that I've been friends with for nearly 30 years, versus let me go to this networking event and meet a whole bunch of new people. But I like doing that. I just need the push and the help and the support from the Woo to do that.
And I'm thinking too, when I'm looking at your assessment, we're all talking about relator right there, but you're buffering up with analytical and intellection right in your top 10 as well. So you're literally overanalyzing. What does this mean? How am I getting in depth with this? Is this deep enough? Can I have a more deeper intellectual conversation? I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, those are all supercharging that relator when you're in that meeting zone.
Yeah, I would add individualization to that list as well. That I want to know who you are for who you are and what makes you individually tick. And yes, how can I learn from you? How can we deepen this connection? Do they like that I'm asking these questions? Is this a mutually beneficial relationship? Are they getting annoyed with me? Should I back off? All of those things are definitely firing on all cylinders when I'm building those deeper relationships, especially at the beginning of a friendship or a connection.
Well, and I'm curious about this for you, Anna, as I'm looking at your assessment and thinking about what you were just saying about like relying on the Woo friends to get you out there. You have competition, self-assurance, and significance, which are all influencing themes. And I'm curious, do you find for work, because I could maybe see this coming out in a work context where like we need to be networking, right? Like you need to meet people. They need to know what you're doing. You kind of have to prove yourself in some context. Do you find like, okay, I personally want to be able to like stay home and hang out with the people I'm comfortable with. But when it comes to like my work status and position, I do need the push, or maybe you don't. I'm curious of like, okay, I need to go to the work networking thing or the thing that will benefit me for work so people can see me and know what I'm doing so I can elevate my status in that arena. Is any of that true?
Yeah, that definitely 100% resonates with me. You just spoke me into existence. It is really interesting when I tell people that Woo, I think Woo is my 33 or something like that. They are shocked generally because I can turn it on and do enjoy the networking events or getting to know people. I love facilitating workshops in front of big groups of people. With all of our interns that are around at work this summer, I love getting to know them and want them to love me and want them to have a really good time, and whatever I can do to help make sure that they're having a great time so that we have the best internship program that ever existed, I will do. So those influencing skills do, I think, mask themselves as woo
Yeah.
sometimes because I do care about and want to make sure that I'm doing a really great job in work. And part of my work is building relationships, getting to know people, helping people feel engaged, facilitating other people building relationships with each other. And therefore, I do rely on those influencing themes a lot.
And I just have to say, for the people out there, that Anna comes with competition and achiever with like this self assurance and significance. You can imagine she is one of the highest performing players on any team. And this is a woman, she will not tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. I have not known this woman to apply for a job because people seek her out. They're like, "Oh, excuse me, we have this really amazing job. Would you like to have it?" And her dilemma in her career arena, if I may say so, because we've talked about it over the years, is like, do I want to take this new opportunity or not? And I know that's because she's so good at the work she does, because she has the talents that she could be good at anything she put her mind to. Because that competition, that achiever, right, that self assurance, she's going to figure it out. She has those thinking abilities to be able to analyze and deliberate on what needs to be done. She can build those deep connections where people know and trust her, and then she gets it done. She's a high performer. So just had to give you a little shout out there. It's I've always been jealous of that. I'm like, here we are out here like seeking business and jobs, and Anna's just like, so I got this opportunity.
And this is why I keep her around, Bill. Like, did you hear
Sarah's.
that hype girl moment
Oh,
right
I
there?
heard it.
Heck,
Yeah.
I love that.
Sarah's the ultimate hype
That's
girl.
girl. That's
I mean,
true.
she really
Thank you,
is.
Sarah.
And
You're welcome.
and I love it. Sarah's like, well, I'd be perfect for that job. Wait, what? Where did that come from? Hold on, I knew that.
I could never perform like her. Okay, I
No,
really
I
couldn't.
no, I
But
get
like
it.
you
Well,
said, Sarah, that is that competition and that achiever. I have been a high achiever my entire life, always striving for more. I have reached an age now where I'm trying to tone that down a little bit more and enjoy the balance in life, enjoy my relationships more. But heck yeah, I want to win. I want my team to win. I want us to perform at the highest possible level we even potentially could. And hello, competition, achiever, significance, all of it.
sure,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I want
Well,
to move
Sarah,
us.
I'm really
Oh, sorry.
curious
Go ahead.
about our online poll.
Yes,
How
that's
they saw
exactly where I
this.
was moving us.
Oh,
And
all right.
everyone needs to know that this was the most popular LinkedIn poll I have ever posted. We got more, like triple the amount of respondents that we normally get. So the poll was, which strength wins in the connection arena? And we had 23% said relator, real ones only. 16% said woo, charm gets it done. 52% said both, dream team combo. And 9% said neither, give me input. So, majority of people say both, dream team combo. And I want to put some context around this because we also had a ton of comments on this post. So, Brea Roper, who is a Clifton Strengths coach, she's been a guest on the pod. She said, "What type of connection are you looking for? Looking for quick connection, quick release, like static cling or a suction cup? That's woo all day. Easy come, easy go. If you need a longer, stronger hold, something that may take a little more time to fully cure, but once it's set, forget about it. Relata is your super glue for life." But why not both? Woo plus Relator is a glitter covered octopus. The glitter draws you in, and damn, no matter how hard you try, you just can't get out of it. Plus, those long, strong, sparkly, suctiony cup arms have you locked in for life. You know, if Brea came up with those on her own and did not ChatGPT that response, I'm just going to give her 1,000 kudos because that was extremely well written.
Well, I have just started preparing my Halloween costume as a glitter-covered octopus, and we'll have to explain it now. So, yes.
Yes.
Very well said, Brea. Thank you.
Very well said. And other people said, so Mike Williams, which funny enough was my supervisor to an internship I had between my freshman and sophomore year of college. So I was like, oh, hey, Mike Williams. He said, as a proud relator, I do need my Woo teammates to help me get out there. We are an incredible team together, which I think is kind of the sentiment we've been
I agree.
echoing back and forth today.
Anna hit that hard, yeah, about how she needs you to do that and kick open some of those doors. So yeah,
Exactly. The combination of what happens. And I think what it's so funny to me, we have, season 2 of Strengths on Fire is the great strengths debate. And really there's typically not much debate in any of the episodes, but it is catchy. I think what we find is it is neither one nor the other, right? It's why, how, what. And then ultimately, we often come down to is like, what happens when you team up? A lot of times in our facilitation of Clifton Strengths, we talk about a person should not be well-rounded. A person should be spiky. If you're on the YouTube videos, pull up your video right now, okay? So a person should be spiky, which means there's going to be things you're not as good at, which is okay because then when you work together with a team, you're going to overlap and fill in each other's gaps and be a well-rounded team. And this can even happen like in our personal lives with friendship, right? Partnership, community, volunteer activities. You do not need to do everything because if you try, you will be mediocre at most things. But if you do the things you do excellent, you can partner with those who do those things that you're not as good at. And that's how you get the true success. And I think as a Woo with high relator that's right. I rely on those relator people to help me have deeper connections.
right.
Because I can come in hot.
She meant low relator. So
Oh, did I say hi?
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
okay. You were on a roll.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, we did. We
That
got
low
you.
relator, I need those relator people to help deepen the relationship because I think the thing is all human beings need connection and need deep connection. Every single human being. Yeah. So that's the thing about me that is hard is I'm good at making quick connection. I'm not as good at making deep. That doesn't mean I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't crave it. I do. I just have to try harder and befriending relators make it easier because they're going to pick up where I leave off.
This Sarah Soapbox moment brought to you by which lip gloss are you rolling today?
Well, they haven't paid us, but Summer Fridays.
Okay,
Oh, how
perfect.
fitting. August 1st, Summer Fridays. Oh my God.
Just send us some free samples. Send them to Sarah.
love free
Sarah's
samples.
address, and we're good. I took a different take on this. For me, the debate question, the answer is you need to seek out people that have both.
Oh,
Clearly,
wow. Really
and
original.
If you want to invite Anna to an amazing job, actually seek out someone that has both, and then ask him, him probably, if he could do that job. So no, I absolutely love hearing it from both of you because I am fortunate to have both, but I do feel like they hit each other and supercharge each other in certain ways that gets me in trouble.
Yeah.
And hearing where it doesn't for you two is really enlightening, is really powerful for me.
Yeah. I love to hear it. Okay, Anna, we have to finish the episode by hearing, when do your strengths get you in a dumpster fire? When are the times that they have gotten in your way, or which ones do you find you're butting your head against?
Yeah, I would say my biggest dumpster fire, the ones plural that I consistently have to combat against are that combination of deliberative, analytical, intellection. Walking into a restaurant that has a large menu is my worst nightmare. Having to start from scratch on a project at work, I have to consistently think about the fact that I need to start the work, not just analyze how I'm going to do it or why I'm going to do it or what direction I want to take. So that deliberative especially is definitely the one that causes me the most trouble because I can get in that analysis paralysis mode and have to talk myself into, okay, what is the first step? What's the next step? How do I actually take action? How do I decide what I'm ordering at a coffee shop or a restaurant when that menu is way too big?
Yeah. Well, how long did it take you to write Hoover papers back in the day?
Oh, I got good at those. Those I could crank out in like an hour and a half on a Sunday.
All right.
I'm sitting here thinking, wow, every time you walk into a big restaurant, you're feeling this pain. I've gotten to the point where I don't even try to go to new restaurants. I literally just go to places I know because I know what I like.
Yeah.
And then I find that I fall into the pitfall of always ordering some of the same stuff. So now most of the people at those places know me. So I'll walk in and say, whatever you think, just
Oh my
throw me something
gosh.
different. Because if I don't do that, I'm never going to try anything new
See, and
unless I trick myself.
I
Right.
love going to new restaurants, but I love when I get an experience where I can ask the waiter or the chef and say, what do you recommend? What is the special? If there's a house special of some kind, that's probably what I'm going to get because I
Yeah.
know from an analytical perspective, they know that that is the best thing that they make.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do that. I don't even need to weigh the pros and cons. That's what I'm going to do, right?
I would say over half the time, maybe 3/4 of the time, I ask the waiter, what would you have tonight? And sometimes I'll narrow it down to my top 3 on the menu, but I'm always asking them, what would you have? Because I'm really curious what somebody else might be thinking and how they feel. And I will tell you, I do a lot of strengths coaching at a tea shop in town, and I always walk in and just say, yeah, just something, whatever and because they're very used to me. Now they hate it because I've done it so long. So much of it has happened. Now they see me coming, they're like, great. Now I have to think of something really unique, something that he's never had because he's had so many different teas here. So I can again see where that can have a trip up kind of moment attached to it. Whereas I think most waiters are pretty good at being able to say, hey, this is what I would try tonight. And yeah, so yeah.
So
I get that.
fascinating. I bet we could have an entire episode about how do you make decisions at restaurants based on your strengths. It would be fascinating to dive into.
What do
But-
you eat? Where do you eat? Yeah.
Right. Okay, Anna. So vice versa, when do your strengths give you a firework moment? When do they fire on all cylinders? Which ones show up?
Well, I'm going to give a little bit of love to my harmony strength. It's honestly the one for me when I saw my full 34. I was like, there's absolutely no way that harmony is in my top 10 because competition, self-assurance, I am very stubborn. Relator, I'm going to only care about the people that I care about and work through conflict with those people. But I think for me, I have seen harmony show up so much more over the last probably year, 2 years, where I think that it's a superpower to be able to have a conversation with people to help move people forward. I can anticipate where conflicts might arise. I can think about how can we move each other through this so that we are feeling comfortable and confident on the other side. I think that sprinkles in a little bit of that individualization and relator as well. But I don't avoid conflict. I move through conflict and help other people on my team do the same thing. And so that has been one lately that has been on fire a bit more, and I really love that I can own that one, claim that one, be excited about that one.
I'm going to guess that harmony for you is the reason you didn't kill Sarah when you guys were living together in overseas. Is that?
I think Sarah would be surprised at the fact that I had harmony at some of those moments, especially in China. But yeah, we did not rock the boat as much as we possibly could.
Well, I have high harmony, so I was like,
Me too. Yeah.
don't be mad at me. I'm sorry that I wake up early in the morning.
We're still going to be friends at the end of it. Don't worry, right, Sarah?
That's right. That's right. And we were. But I love to hear that mature use of your harmony now. Like, right? Harmony in its essence is that peacemaker that wants everybody kind of on board going in the same direction. And the mature harmony will go into conflict, like you're saying, because it knows the only way to get everybody on board is to kind of face the conflict head on and move through it. It's just when we get stuck in immature use of harmony that it can really get in our way and cause issues. So it's really cool to see you kind of accept and see the power of that in your life.
Yeah.
So good. Such a good moment. Well, Anna, we're going to start signing off here, but I'm going to give you one moment. Go ahead and give us a Sarah story nobody knows about in your many travels. Something, maybe only lightly embarrassing, maybe fully embarrassing. You choose really. And I'm
just happy she has deliberative intellection and hope she can't think of anything on the spot.
It'll be a while.
I mean, my immediate reaction was like, I would never do that to Sarah.
Oh.
Darn it.
There is no need to air any dirty laundry or make her embarrassed on her own podcast.
Darn it. I will find the person.
Her
that will
strengths
sell
are great,
Sarah out.
aren't they? She's a real powerhouse.
Sarah's so positive. I can't find somebody to sell her out. I'll keep looking. We'll
Now,
find
off
it.
air, Bill, we'll come back to that.
All right. You know what? I'm going to secretly record it and use it as an outtake on this. That's I'm doing something. So
Don't you dare. Honestly, she probably doesn't have anything to say. Because I'm kind of an open book. I mean, how much about me do I keep secret, honestly?
It is totally fair. She is an unfiltered open book. So, all right. Well, Anna, thank you very, very much for your time today. Thank you for coming with the high relator aspect to this. Very appreciated, particularly as Sarah brings just that high woo, and hearing the way the two of you do that, and hopefully having me in the middle as somebody that has both very high. I hope it gives a lot of insight to our arsonists and our other listeners today. So thank you very much for being on the show and coming in today with your time, Anna.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
It was good. It's a good time to have you here. And with that, and our arsonists, we want to tell you thank you for listening. We always appreciate having you here, and we will talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Strengths on Fire. If today's conversation sparked something in you, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. We're here bringing you fresh insights to fuel your growth and ignite your potential. Remember, your strengths are powerful, so let's keep the fire burning.
And if you're looking to transform your organization through strengths-based strategies and coaching, reach out to Sarah Collins, founder of Collins Collective, or Bill Dipple, founder of Bill Dipple Strengths Coaching. Connect with Sarah at wearecollinsco.com. Follow her on Instagram at SarahCoachCollins, or email her at sarah@wearecollinsco.com, SARAH. You can reach Bill at BillDipple.com, Bill, DIPPEL.com, or on Instagram at BillDippleCoach, or email him at bill@BillDipple.com.
Please note the opinions, views, and interpretations of Clifton Strengths expressed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts and the guests. They have not been approved, sanctioned, or endorsed by Gallup in any way.
Until next time, keep your strengths on fire and let's light up what's possible together. Bye, Bill.
Bye, Sarah.